The world's a dangerous place. Get the industry's original and most trusted laser sighting system from Crimson Trace. A laser and light systems will enhance your effectiveness and help keep you and your family out of harm's way.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, broadcasting nationwide. Have a question? Want to make a comment? Call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. That's 866-825-5486. Or email tom@guntalk.com. Now, here's Tom Gresham.
Always fun to get together with my friends and talk about guns and shooting and hunting and, well, self-defense, of course, and ammo and optics and everything else. We talk about pretty much anything anything that has to do with guns. We will absolutely talk about it here. If you'd like to join us, well, you can be a part of this fun endeavor. I was going to say craziness, but that's only sometimes. It's always fun, sometimes crazy. Just call me, 866-TALK-GUN. That's 866-825 549 or 86. You know what? Forget it. It's easier this way. Just dial it this way. 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Pretty easy. Just dial 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Shoot me an email, tom@guntalk.com. And over on Twitter, I'm at GunTalk. By the way, don't forget, we have a massive Facebook presence. Look for Gun Talk Media on Facebook, and you can see us over there. You can follow us, see what's going on. You can do the liking thing. You know what we do? We have tons of news on our Facebook page. So look for Gun Talk on Facebook. We're there also. Now, always fun to give away stuff, and it's really fun to get together with old friends. And joining me right now is Eddie Stevenson with Trijicon. And Eddie, you and I have been on some adventures with firearms at various times, have we not?
We have. I think we've been all over the place.
And let me tell you, if you ever want to hunt anything, there's a pretty good chance that Eddie has hunted it. If you need information on that, because you are one of the huntingest guys I have ever known.
Well, matter of fact, I just got back from Oklahoma turkey hunting for the past few days, and took my kiddos, and we got a couple gobblers, and had a great time.
Outstanding. Well, that is terrific. So obviously, we're announcing the big month-long giveaway deal on Gun Talk today. But I am very excited. This is a Trijicon giveaway, and what you guys have selected to give away, because I think it's to me, it's the sweet spot. It's about the best best hunting scope that Trijicon makes.
Absolutely. And what we've selected for this month is the brand new AccuPoint 1-6. And what's so neat about this is that obviously it's a 1-6 variable optic, so there are a ton of applications, and this scope is absolutely brand new, literally announced about a month ago, and we're really excited about it. This is the culmination of several years with the AccuPoint, and due to consumer demand, we decided to come out with a 1-6 because it hits that sweet spot that you just mentioned. Everything from AR use to dangerous game to slug guns to even long-range applications because of the different reticles that we offer in that particular scope.
You could even use it on a turkey gun.
Absolutely. And, I'm not sure if your listeners are really understand the AccuPoint and what's so unique about it, but I'd sure like to touch on that if you'd like.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, one thing a lot of people don't understand with Trijicon in particular is they are the innovators, the originators of no batteries, of tritium use in optics. And that tritium is a hydrogen isotope that radiates a light source as it's dying. And Trijicon years ago figured out a way to put it into an optic in a way that you have tritium and then fiber optics that combine to give you an aiming point in any lighting condition without the use of batteries. So it's a really ingenious system, and one that people are really, really adapting to, and we see that in sales every year. It continues to increase as people learn more and more about it.
Let me talk for a second about the whole idea of the 1-6, because, I've been a huge fan of the 1-4, low-range variables for almost all hunting. And to go 1-6, all you're doing is adding that top end at the 1 power, and if it were me on my gun, I'm going to keep it on 1 power all the time unless I need more magnification. And when it's far away, you have time to crank it up. But at 1 power, when you throw that gun up to your shoulder, you can keep both eyes open. It's a zero magnification is what it is, 1 power. And you can see so fast. You have this huge field of view, whether it's a moving target, a running target. You could use this thing for 3-gun competition. You can use it for any kind of hunting. But the thing I want to address for a second here, Eddie, is that 6 power is honestly enough for almost any hunting situation I can imagine. I just would not have any problem at all using a 6 power scope for a 400 to 500 yard shot. That'd be piece of cake.
Sure. And, you mentioned, my hunting experience, and I have hunted all over the world, and I can tell you as a big game hunter, primarily, if you walk around with your scope at maximum power, you're going to get in trouble more often than not.
Yeah,
and,
you're going to miss a chance.
Hunters, absolutely. If you poll most big game hunters, they usually shoot on about 6 power, and if you have time to get a good solid rest and, that sort of thing, you're going to crank it up if you need to. But a smart hunter is going to keep it on a lower magnification, and you can dial it up if you need to. But 6 is the sweet spot. That's the perfect magnification for a lot of uses. And even in military applications, they are leaning more toward a 1 to 6 in some of their battlefield optics, because that 6 gives you just that little bit much more magnification at extended ranges. And when we start talking about ballistic reticles and mil-dot reticles and getting into the weeds on that end of things, you can still make all that work with just a 6 power optic, and you still don't have so much that you lose your field of view. Honestly, as you move up in power, you see less of your target area, and a 6 still gives you plenty of field of view, but also enough magnification to be able to zoom in and use those ballistic reticles at longer ranges properly. And that is all the rage these days, and we even integrated that into these scopes.
It's a great scope. We're giving one away. To enter for a chance to win it, you go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. That's guntalk.com/win. And we're going to pull a name out of the hat at the end of the month. Now, this is just so people understand, MSRP on the scope is $1,599. It's a $1,600 scope. This is about as good as it gets.
It is, and it's a brand new design from Trijicon. Like I said, just launched it literally a month ago at the NRA convention.
Outstanding. Well, Eddie, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys tossing that one in, because it's a huge, huge get for us to be able to offer this brand new one. So there you go. Eddie Stevenson from Trijicon. All right, 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. If you'd like to join us, if you thought about calling and you haven't yet, now's your time. If there's something on your mind we haven't talked about yet, by all means. And if you just think we're a crazy town around here, call me. I will give you the floor, and you can explain why you think that the gun folks are just nuts. 866-TALK-GUN.
Making news 30 years ago, the modern internet made strides when 5 supercomputers were linked to form a network. It was the same year ARMSCORE entered the U.S. market. What a coincidence. Why not use the internet to celebrate? Get big online discounts and rebates on the world's #1 selling 1911s from Rock Island Armory and quality ammunition from ARMSCORE. Get yours at armscore.com/guntalk. ARMSCORE, USA strong for 30 years.
Hi, I'm Tom Gresham. For more than 40 years, I've been watching an environmental disaster in my backyard, and it actually impacts all sportsmen in America. I'm talking about the massive loss of land on the Louisiana coastline. The U.S. Geological Survey said the swamps and marshes of coastal Louisiana are among the nation's most fragile and valuable wetlands. That land is disappearing. The Mississippi River Delta hosts as many as 10 million ducks and geese every winter. These are birds which migrate northward through the states, all the way to Canada. The wetlands of the Delta support some of America's best fresh and saltwater fishing. And here's the deal. The wetlands of the Mississippi River Delta are disappearing at a rate of 1 football field every hour. 1 football field every hour. Gone. We can reconnect the river with its wetlands and restore the Delta, but we need your help. Please visit vanishingparadise.org. That's vanishingparadise.org.
The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently. When it comes to personal protection, nothing beats a Bodyguard. Choose the lightweight, compact, and concealable Bodyguard 380 pistol or the Bodyguard 38 revolver, both with a built-in laser sight. The Smith & Wesson Bodyguards. Carry more comfortably, walk more confidently.
Crossbreed Holsters is broadening our product selection to serve more of your concealed carry needs. With products handmade in the USA, like the bedside backup, gun belts, and of course our world-famous Super Tuck and Mini Tuck holsters, we understand what works, and we take pride in providing you with a quality product. At Crossbreed Holsters, we live and breathe concealed carry. We make and sell products that we believe in and products that our customers love. To see more, go to crossbreedholsters.com. That's crossbreedholsters.com.
All right, back with you. Let's go talk to Frank right off the bat. Line 2, he's in Talkeetna, Alaska. Hello, Frank.
How are you, sir? Listen, I'm calling the future. I think my phone is breaking up, so I'll make this short. Are you able to hear me at this point?
I got you right now. Go for it.
Okay, Tom, thank you. I like carrying concealed, and when I conceal a gun, I have to have something to conceal it with. So I don't want people walking over and saying, "Hey, kid, nice gun," or some crazy taking it away from me. So when I wear it for concealment. And the range report is that I don't want to look tactical when I'm carrying. Tactical's fine on the range, but when I'm out shopping and what have you, I want to look normal, not tactical, not threatening. To that end, I want to give very high remarks to the true spec concealment vests. You can buy them through the NRA gift shop, or you can go on the web and get them. But in my experience, they fit the best, they look the best, and for heaven's sakes, they're not tactical.
Okay, and I apologize, but you're right. Your phone is dropping out. We're going to have to drop you off. But I tell you what, I just looked it up. TrueSpec is TRU-SPEC, TrueSpec, and on the web it's without the hyphen, TrueSpec, TRUSPEC.com. Tactical pants, polos, uniforms, ladies wear, outerwear, et cetera, et cetera. So lots of good stuff there. Great to get that range report. I'll tell you what, let's pick up another range report. Drop down to line 1, guys. Ray is with us in Shreveport, Louisiana. Ray, give me your range report, man.
Well, we went to the range yesterday. Took my wife, my son, my father, and carried mostly pistols, couple threes, Smith & Wesson 29. My wife's 45. And we just out there shooting, having a good time. The most interesting aspect of it, though, and it's probably the funnest part of going to the range, is meeting people you never met before. And there was a man and his wife and a friend of his wife there, and she had just purchased a little Ruger LC9, and she couldn't shoot the thing. She couldn't hit the target with it. And she's left-handed, and I'm a naturally left-handed shooter. And my wife was talking to her and said, "Well, he can show you how to hold it." Well, she walks over to me, which was a little uncomfortable with her husband being there, and says, "Can you teach me how to shoot this gun?" And well, it worked out great, though. Let me tell you what happened. I mean, I just, this is how I do it, and showed her how to hold it, right. It's a pretty small weapon, and she was real nervous, kind of, shaking, pulling the trigger because it's a double action only, and but she finally got relaxed, pulling the trigger, and was able to really squeeze it off nice. She wound up, out of 5 shots, she hit two inside the 10, two inside the 9, and one fired the 7 ring at 7 yards, which with that little 2-inch barrel is pretty good shooting, you know.
That's pretty nice.
She didn't even hit the target, you know. And
wow.
And she was so excited. I mean, she shot that group, and she said, "Come look what I did." You know, I mean, it was great.
You know what's really fun like that? It's when they take their target home with them, and you go, okay, they're going to go show this to their friends and everybody. They're going to put it on the wall. One of the things and look, I appreciate the report, Ray. Thank you for that. One of the things I really like to do is when I take youngsters out and have them shoot their target, and then take it and give it to them. And if they want, you know, have them sign it and date it. We sign it, you know, and put a date on it, and they take it home. And now they've got this souvenir from their time at the range. And so it's really goes over well. It's just tons and tons of fun. I want to talk to Kevin on line 4 out of Arkansas. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, Tom. How you doing today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. So I just wanted to comment on concealed carry. And I'm always amazed how many people don't carry their weapon as often as they could. They don't carry it around the house. They have this idea that somehow they're going to get to choose when a criminal is going to confront them. And I would encourage everybody to carry their weapon legally as often as possible so that they're always ready, whether they're walking out to their car to help their wife bring in groceries, or going out to get the mail, or even in the bathroom. Have one readily available in the bathroom, so when somebody kicks in your door, you can respond.
You know, I know that people are going to hear what you're saying and say, wow, these guys are real paranoid. But I would echo exactly what you're saying, Kevin, and I do it this way. And thank you for the call. I appreciate that. Here's what I would ask you to do. Everything you do, everywhere you go, think, what if it were right here? What if it were right now? You're in your kitchen, in your home, and 2 guys simply kick in the door and come into your house. In 5 seconds, they're going to be in your kitchen. Now, you have your guns at various places. Maybe you got them in a safe. Maybe you got them in your bedroom. But you're not going to get there, because these guys are going to be in the kitchen with you in 5 seconds. Like Kevin said, if you're going out to the driveway, the garage, to help your wife bring the groceries in, and somebody comes around the corner and attacks you right there, you don't have time to go get your gun. Well, I'm only going to the store. And I'm guilty of that. I'll think, well, I'm only going, and I stop myself and say, yeah. And you have no idea this is where it's going to happen. And I'll tell you what, somebody told me this early on, and I do that now. When I put my gun on in the morning, and trust me, when I get up and put my clothes on in the morning, my gun goes on. I don't say today is the day it may happen, because I don't want to put that thought in my mind. What I say is today is the day it is going to happen. That is the thought I want. Because if I go through the day thinking today is the day it's going to happen, I just don't know where and when. Now, it doesn't make me nervous. It doesn't make me spooky. It doesn't make me jumpy. I don't do the whole Don Knotts thing. But it simply gets my mind in the right place. I carry when I'm at home. I know a lot of people who do. You know, you're right. It's not about paranoia. It's you know. I tell you what, let's drop down to line 1. He's got a good point on this. Brian in Iowa. Hey, Brian, you're up.
Hi, how's it going? First-time caller here. I'm just saying, you know, it's not about being paranoid. It's about being prepared. You know, I'm a veteran, and you know, we didn't go to war just because we were paranoid. We went and we were prepared for what we were going there to do. It's just like being in your home. You're being prepared that anything can happen at any time.
And it's a great point, Brian, and I appreciate the call. There are a few, not a lot of things you have to do to prepare for emergencies, honestly. Think about the kind of emergencies that could happen to you. You have medical supplies at home. I hope you have enough stuff where you can stop bleeding. You can take care of that. You should have multiple, I'm saying, fire extinguishers in your home, and they should be charged and current. What else should you have? You might want to have a week's worth of food available at any given time if the power goes out and you can't get any food at the store. Okay, that's just smart. And a firearm, which is something that takes care of a problem that you have to take care of until the police get there. You know, it's not paranoia to say I have a fire extinguisher. People say, yeah, cash and water, sure. I agree. People say it's paranoid to have a gun. Really? They say, well, you have a gun and you don't really need one because we have the police. Well, that would be kind of like saying you don't need a fire extinguisher because we have a fire department. I don't know of a lot of people who would offer that thought. Gee, you shouldn't have a fire extinguisher. Just leave it to the fire department. The role of a fire extinguisher at home is exactly the same role as your personal defense firearm. Is to help you take care of the situation until help arrives. That's it. It's help you to fight off the problem until you can get help there. And it would be not just foolish. It would be immoral. It would be unconscionable to tell someone, I'm sorry, you don't get to take care of yourself. We're going to require you to put yourself at the mercy of monsters until people wearing the proper clothing can show up, i.e. uniforms. You wouldn't tell somebody to do that with a fire extinguisher. That'd be nuts. Why would anybody tell you to do it with a firearm? Somebody kicks in the door and they want to kill you. Somebody kicks in the door and they want to rape you. Somebody kicks in the door, they want to abduct you. You have the rest of your life to solve the problem. How long you live depends on how well you solve the problem. Food for thought for you. Why are you not carrying everywhere? Why are you not getting training when you know you need it? 866-TALK-GUN.
Covering all aspects of gun ownership every week on this fine radio station. You're listening to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.
All right, line 3, Bob is in Madisonville, Pennsylvania. Interesting. We have a Madisonville, Louisiana. That's where our offices are. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Very good, Tom, and it's good to talk to you. I wish I could have got to meet you down there in Nashville. I got to speak to a lot of people when I was down there, and believe it or not, I had no intention of, but I was so impassioned by Jim Porter's speech on Saturday morning, I became an NRA Life member.
Outstanding.
The question that I have got for you, it's probably the greatest weekend in 10 years of my life. And like I said, I wish I could have got to speak to you, but it was busy and I didn't know where you were at. So I've got a couple of your questions to answer, and why you said, why don't you carry? Well, I carry a SIG 238. My problem is I'm in the grocery business, and I go to New York and New Jersey, and it's just an absolute disgrace. But you cannot do that. I cannot even have hollow point ammunition in the car when I go there. So about 80% of the time I carry, and I carry when I'm in the house.
Okay, so in other words, you carry when you can, which makes sense. Okay, I get that.
Absolutely. And I guess the question that I've got for you, being that I'm 100 miles north of Philadelphia where I'm at, I just reviewed your Concealed Training 1 and Concealed Training 2. I've had NRA training, but I would like to get some high-level training as your guys doing those tapes, it really makes sense. I don't know where to begin. And that's basically why I called you.
Sure. There are several good schools around the country. You're in Pennsylvania. What part of Pennsylvania is that?
100 miles north of Philadelphia. 100 miles north, east of Harrisburg.
Got it. All right. The SIG Academy is world-class training. They're in Exeter, New Hampshire. That's a bit of a drive, but it's not huge. And I would suggest that is certainly a possibility. If you're willing to travel, then you could get to a gun sight or Thunder Ranch or down to Alabama at Tiger McKee's place at Shoot Right Academy. But from where you are, the SIG Academy is less than a day's drive, I'm sure, maybe even a half a day's drive. And it is world class. Okay. So that would be where I would direct you. I think sounds to me like you're ready for this next step. And just check their website is sigsouracademy.com. And, it's life-changing. When you go to one of these classes, you kind of go, okay, I thought I knew this stuff, and I thought I got it, but now I didn't, and now I do. So it'll be fun. And the other thing is, you will have so much fun. And so since you're a SIG guy anyway, I would go to the SIG Academy.
Yep. The other thing that I did catch is Rob Pincus when he was at one of the seminars down there. Now, he comes to Philadelphia, and the reason I ask is there anybody that travels with their courses that you can check? But I did know of the SIG Academy, and I thank you very much.
Yeah, I would sure recommend the SIG Academy. It's a great facility and world-class instructors. So, Bob, I appreciate the call, sir. Let's drop down to Brandon on line 2 out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hello, Brandon. You're on Gun Talk. Got a range report?
Yeah. Hey, Tom. It's good to talk to you. I'm glad everything's going well for you. I wanted to talk about some training that I took here in Tulsa. If it's all right with you, I can give the name of the place, but it was fantastic training. It's the Defensive Shooting Academy of Tulsa. It's TDSA. It's actually ran by a local Tulsa police officer, and he is a phenomenal shot. It's just impressive to watch him work. It's very professional. It was humorous. The first day was a bunch of fundamentals, which I thought I already had down, but I definitely improved. And then the second day was a blast. Multiple targets, lots of rounds. We did about 1,300 rounds total through the 2 days. So if anybody is in the area or needs to take a great training class, I'd highly recommend TDSA. It was a phenomenal time and great learning experience for me. And I've taken a few training classes before, and this is easily the best training I've taken.
Okay, and you got a question?
Yeah, I've got a question about press checks. So I'm the kind of guy who basically I have my gun on my nightstand. I have it on my nightstand every night. I have it, next to my couch with me whenever I'm sitting in the living room. And whenever I take it off often because I'm a big guy. So sometimes it's kind of uncomfortable to wear. So I have it next to me all the time. And in the mornings when I'm putting my gun on, I do a press check every time. And sometimes I'm doing 3 or 5 press checks per day on the same round. And since I don't get to go to the range very often, I'm doing it for like a month at a time on the same round. I'm not pulling my mags or anything like that. Do I need to worry about any of that, like on the bullet seating or anything?
Yeah, let me explain. A press check is simply with a semi-automatic. What you're doing is you're pulling back the slide slightly so that you can take a peek in there and see it, and also where you can reach in there with your finger and feel if there is a round in the chamber. We do that because if we put the gun down and we come back to it, we just want to make sure that it's still loaded. Simple as that.
Right.
Now, to your question, I was going to say, yes, probably I would want to rotate that round out because multiple press checks, if you're doing that many of them, it is possible to, it's highly unlikely, but possible that a bullet could get seated a little bit further into the chamber. That's more likely if you're actually dropping the slide. But with a press check, you're not doing that. You're just pushing it back slightly and looking and feeling and then lowering the slide. The one thing you do have to make sure of, and I'm sure you know this, is if you do a press check, make sure the gun goes completely back into battery, which means that the slide is all the way forward. So, but yeah, I'm the same way. When I only do one press check a day, but that's because I put the gun on once a day. But every time I put a gun on, I take it out, I have it pointed in a safe direction. I run the slide back slightly so I can see and feel. The reason I do the feel thing is because I want to get in the habit of doing that, because I may at some point need to do a press check when it's dark that I can't see in there. And the other thing is some rounds are black, and you could do a press check and fool yourself and you can't see around in there, so I want to be able to feel it. So, but yeah, I'm a big believer in the press checks. I think it's a smart thing to do. If you're into concealed carry, I think it's something that you ought to be making a part of your regular routine. If you're not sure how to do it, get with a good instructor, practice it with dummy rounds. By all means, clearly, keep your finger out of the trigger guard when you're doing a press check, for heaven's sakes. Be right back.
Accurate, powerful, consistent. At Double Tap Ammunition, we offer 364 loads in 83 calibers that give you exactly what you've been looking for. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
In the field or on the range, you need a trigger you can trust. For over 60 years, Timney triggers have been trusted by hunters and shooters everywhere. A Timney trigger could mean the difference between a great shot and a miss. Timney triggers are proudly made in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. To order, go to timneytriggers.com. That's TIMNEY triggers.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at shopguntalk.com. Get prepared. Shopguntalk.com.
At Double Tap Ammunition, we hand inspect every round that we make, and we use only the best components to give you the best ammunition on the market. Try us out at www.doubletapammo.com and use the promo code GUNTALK for 10% off your order.
All right, 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. If you'd, by all means, call right now. We'll take your call just as quickly as we can get you in. Let's see, Chris, line 4, Little Rock, Arkansas. Hey, Chris, you're on Gun Talk.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. What'd you get?
I just purchased a PT-111 G2 for basically the same reason you were talking about earlier, just having more capacity because I'm used to carrying a Springfield 1911 mil-spec.
Mm-hmm.
And usually in a smart carry holster, so this is a little more comfortable too. But I was curious if you had any input on the gun. I'm used to carrying Condition 1, and this is a completely different style of gun. So,
well, I mean, it's just this is the you're talking about this Taurus PT-111, right?
Yes, sir. It's
okay.
A little more inexpensive, but it seems to be a pretty well built gun.
Mm-hmm. Have you shot it much?
I had it for 2 days, and I got out and just put a couple mags through it.
Okay. Yes, I know. It's going to be different if you're used to like a 1911 carrying, Condition 1 cocked and locked. Striker-fired guns are a little bit different. It makes you pay additional attention to making sure your finger is outside of the trigger guard when you're shooting it. The only thing I can think of is just you may want to get you some snap caps and work on dry firing a bit, and in safe condition. And the other thing is, just as a drill to work on the trigger pull so you get really comfortable with it, when you're at the range, take those dummy rounds and mix them in with your live rounds, so that when you're shooting, occasionally you'll, instead of getting a bang, you'll get a click. And when you get the click, if all of a sudden your sights are pointing low and left, then you'll know that you're actually milking the trigger, you're jerking it a little bit, and you'll start working on it. It's like having an instructor there all the time. When you do that ball and dummy drill using the ball ammo, which is live ammo, and dummy ammo, mix it together, it's amazing how quickly you can fix that trigger pull. So that'd be about it.
But are there any concerns other than keeping your finger out of the trigger guard with this gun during a condition 1, or?
No, it's basically treat it like any other gun. 4 rules of gun safety. That's it. And have a good holster that completely covers the trigger guard. And don't put your finger literally inside the trigger guard until your sights are on the target. That's just the main deal. It's like everything else. Don't count on a safety, any kind of safety, to make a gun safe. Only the shooter can do that. So I wish you luck with it. I'm going to run down to Ray. He is in South Carolina on line 1. Hey, Ray, talking about ARs and bullpups. What's up?
Yeah, okay. I did some math, crunched some numbers with a Tavor. I measured that out, and then I measured a friend of mine. He has one of those 10-inch 300 blackout ARs. So if you take the AR, the SBR, and shrink the stock all the way down as far as it can go, and then you hold it up next to a Tavor, a 16-inch Tavor, the SBR is longer. And that got me thinking, Tom, why does the NFA exist?
Well, the NFA is silly on the face of it. The National Firearms Act of 1934, which regulates short barrel rifles, those with a barrel shorter than 16 inches, and machine guns and silencers. It's all bogus stuff. Exactly. Your point is exactly right. You have the Tavor, or a bullpup design, which is shorter in overall length, but you don't need a tax stamp on it. You don't have to register it with the federal government. But if you get a short-barreled rifle, something with a barrel shorter than 16 inches, it's not as concealable, i.e. concealable, whatever. But now, don't even get me started. We should completely eliminate the NFA. The National Firearms Act should go away. You should be able to buy silencers without paying a tax on them. You should be able to buy full auto without paying a tax on it. You should be able to buy short barrel rifles without paying a tax on it. If anything, only the regular background check, the NICS check, would be all you'd need on the firearms. And on suppressors, you ought to be able to buy those in Home Depot like you do any other muffler. So it's just nuts what we have to put up with, what we're saddled with. I appreciate the call. Alan, going to get you in here quickly. Line 3 out of Fresno, California. You got about a minute, Alan.
Okay.
You're on, Alan.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's great to talk to you, Tom. I have some advice to the guy who wants to carry a concealed weapon in a water park. First of all, I'm a proponent of having the right to carry a weapon. I carry one myself a lot, but in a crowded water park full of kids, I just don't think it's a good idea. There's just too much that could go wrong.
What could go wrong?
Well, I mean, what if the gun falls out of his holster, and some kid picks it up, because, you're active in a water park. You're going down these water slides and swimming and everything. And I think the guy would probably have a lot more fun without having a gun on him in there. I think it would be safer if he would just leave it behind and go have a good time in the park.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and I'm not. I think we could say the same thing with you. You could have more fun at the city park, or at the theater, or any other place. Just leave it at home. Now, I understand what you're saying. I'm not going to carry one while I'm swimming or going down a slide, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to try to have one handy. Look, stuff happens everywhere. If I knew where it was going to happen, I wouldn't go there in the first place. And since I don't, I try to prepare so that no matter where it happens, if I happen to be there, I have options. Options are good.
Just because we're wrapping up on the air doesn't mean we're done talking about guns. Stick around for the after show. It's our podcast-only version designed to include all the stuff we simply couldn't fit into a regular show. Call in now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN. Now, back to Tom.
Hey, to the caller who just called in and really berated our call screener, a lot of courage there. Want to come on the air and do that? Saying, well, this whole idea of equating guns to fire extinguishers. Well, actually, they're exactly the same thing. They are life-saving devices. They are used to take care of a situation until help can arrive. Sometimes you can deal with the situation yourself, putting out the fire, putting out the problem, making the problem just simply run away. But sometimes you have to fight the problem until help can arrive. A firearm is a life-saving device. A firearm is a parachute. A firearm is what you use when everything else has gone wrong and there's no other option. If you'd like to discuss it, by all means, give us a call. But to call and berate a call screener and then hang up? Not a lot of courage there. 866-TALK-GUN gets you in here. Let's see here. Matthew, line 2, Louisiana. Hey, Matthew.
Yeah, Tom, I was just wondering if you knew how HB 488 did. I tried to spread the word around, but didn't seem to be getting too many people talking about anything besides Baltimore.
Right, I appreciate it. HB 488 in Louisiana legislature, it changed the definition of domestic abuse in not a good way. And they're saying, well, this will protect women. No, actually what it does is it means that you could literally be convicted of a felony if you threaten force against someone. If you just said, I'm going to knock your block off, that in and of itself would be considered domestic abuse. It wouldn't even have to be against somebody that you're related to. It could be anybody. And as you know, if you do that, then, of course, you lose your gun rights. So that bill went down in committee by only one vote. And the way it was withdrawn means it's going to come back. So if you get on the mailing list of the Louisiana Shooting Association, the LSA, they will shoot you an email when it comes back and let you know what's going on. But I appreciate you bringing it up. And a lot of folks did go down to the State House, and a lot of people did call and write, so that's a good thing. You have to do it. It's just simple as that. David's in Baton Rouge on line 4. Hey, David, you're up.
Hey, how's it going this afternoon? Great to talk to you. I have a question. A few months ago, you were mentioning an online website that was you could find ammunition, and but some of it would only last hours or whatever. And I cannot remember the name of it.
There's a couple of them, and understand these places don't sell ammunition. They are these aggregate sites. They kind of just go out and find where there are sales going on, and they will list it. There are two of them. One is called GUNBOT, GUNBOT.net, and it's important that it's .net, not .com. And the other is AMMOSEEK, AMMOSEEK, AMMOSEEK.com. And of course, my first go-to place is almost always Brownells because they've got huge supplies of ammo, a lot of variety. I just go to Brownells.com for that. I appreciate that. Tell you what, everybody who's on hold, don't go anywhere. You're going to make it into the after show, which is the fun part. If you're not on hold, but you want to join us for the after show, it's pretty easy. Call us, 866-TALK-GUN. That'll get you in here. In the meantime, I'm going to ask you to recommit to firearm safety. Recommit to taking people to the range. Invite people who you've not shot with to go shooting with you. Most people said they would go if somebody would just ask them. And once they go, they like it. They become a shooter. They become politically active. Win-win, win-win. In the meantime, commit yourself to those 4 rules of gun safety. Be careful. And also, don't forget, download the after show because it's always a lot of fun.